Hello everybody. This is Ask coming at you. Hey, I just wanted to shoot a quick little video about what's going on this week, and I'm going to be talking about a strategy that's going to help you really understand and how to catapult your business, especially if you're doing Shopify or anything on that platform. So I'm going to be talking about a break-even point analysis and market penetration. Now, what do all these big words mean? It's very simple. So when I show you this technique and how you can implement this in your business, and how we're implementing it in our business to grow Techademics tremendously. So you'll see about that in a little bit of bonus I'm going to give you at the end of this video. So watch it right through the end. So let me give you an example. What does break-even point mean? Well, in business, break-even is the point where you start to finish paying off all your expenses for that month or for that year or for that day. So let's just do it for a yearly basis. Okay, I'm going to use a break-even point. So what does it take in 1 year's time? Let's say you do a projection of 1 year, what your costs are to run that business for 1 year. So we'll use an example, okay? So I'm going to say, let's say you had a bakery, okay? And in a bakery, your overhead costs, you have your first cost. I'm going to write this down for you, okay? So you have what you do is break down all your costs in your business. So number one is, let's say you have your overhead cost, and this is a bakery. Overhead cost. Okay, let me just make that correction here. Okay, so you have your overhead cost. Number two, in running a business, is what do you have? Your material costs, right? Your cost of goods, or material cost. And number three is your labor cost. Okay, and number four could be your marketing costs, which is what most of you spend money on to drive traffic. So let's break this down. So let's say in all these costs in running your business comes out to $10,000 per month. Just using an example. Okay, that means every month you need to produce $10,000 of revenue coming into your business to break even. Once you've hit that point, any volume you get past that $10,000 mark is virtually all profit. So why should you know this? It's very simple. So let's say on 4 weeks is 1 month, right? Obviously. 1 month. All right. Let's say it takes about 3 weeks for you to produce $10,000 in your business. Gross sales, I'm talking about GS, gross sales, not your profit. So it took, let's say, $10,000 of business came in your business after 3 weeks. Now what happens after the 21 day, after 3 weeks? Any revenue you get past the third week goes directly into profit. Almost all of it, except for a little bit of variable cost you might have for advertising and stuff. So all of these costs are paid because your overhead cost for that month might be, let's say, $2,000. Your material cost could be, let's say, $3,000. Your labor cost could be, to add that up, it'd be $5,000, could be another $2,000. And your marketing cost would be another $3,000. Okay, so that equals to a total of $10,000. So we have to produce at least every month $10,000 to make a profit. So what you do is, after the third week is done, you do a special promotion, something to drive more revenue. This is called market penetration. Now you can do that or become super profitable. Super profit. Super profitability means you don't lower your prices. You keep it where they are, and you don't, obviously not going to generate enough revenue or more revenue, because if your prices stay where they are, you're going to pretty much have the same kind of a revenue for the rest of the previous weeks you were doing business, correct? So you could do that, or you could try to penetrate the market by lowering your price, because you've already paid for everything else. All your costs are paid after 3 weeks, right? Now this strategy came around back in the 80s, and Marriott used it very well. They figured out that the break-even point for that week was every Friday morning. So every Friday morning, they would have a promotion that to come into our hotel, spend a couple of days, bring your family in, it'd only be $69 or $49 for the whole weekend. Now, normally the cost of a hotel per day in those days, just for one day, was about $100. Now, how could they promote that? That's because they covered all their costs for that week. So they would have a promotion on every Friday. This means any revenue that came in, because this would bring in more revenue, more people bought or came into the hotel, that means that was virtually all profit except for the advertising cost, which was probably 10 or 20% of the revenue. So this is how you become, you increase your market, because you obviously have more revenue coming in. Now you could keep it at your price where it is, but what happens is that you don't get enough business because you're not dropping your price. There's got to be a good reason for dropping your price. And one of the ways you can do this is you knowing your break-even point. So what's this got to do with Black Friday coming up this week? I'll tell you what's going on. So, did you know that most retailers make about 30 to 20 or maybe even 50% of their profit in the last 3 months of the year? That's because most people buy a lot of Christmas gifts, shopping, Thanksgiving going on. So they figured out their break-even point for that year was around November. So every revenue that came in by November, they made enough money to pay off all their expenses for that year, for 12 months. So any revenue that came in after November 1st was virtually all profit. So they said, instead of just keeping our prices, yeah, we can still make the same kind of revenue we did the previous months. Why don't we penetrate the market by attracting people with lower costs? So today you see Black Friday, all the retailers try to capitalize on it because they know they've covered all their expenses. So most of their revenue will be all profit. That's why the prices can go from a laptop, for example, could be for $500, could be sold for $50, $30, because they know that's going to bring in revenue. It increases their traffic. And in Cyber Monday coming up, it increases their what? Their list that they're building, because more people opt into the website, and guess what happens? They build a bigger list so that next year they'll have more potential customers. So how do we use this for your business? Very simple. Well, for those of you that you know that you're going through these steps, that have done the business plan, this week we figured out our break-even point. We've covered all our break-even point already for the year. So what Techanomics figured this out is that if we've done that, what we're going to be able to do is offer the one certification that we have. It's going to be now for $800. That's a 50% savings. The Accelerate, okay? The Accelerate program is going to be $8K. That's a 20% savings. Okay. Number 3, monetize. This is the biggie. And this is what really drives your revenue really high to learning this kind of knowledge. Monetize is going to be $12,500 total, and that's a 50% saving. That's huge. The value of monetize is actually $43,000 plus. So, what am I getting at? If you're serious about building your business, and I know most of you are, this would be the best time for you to capitalize on learning the knowledge which you need to getting to the next level. So in the email that I just sent you, that my assistant probably sent you as well, go through it, let me know where you want to get started. We're going to show you how to use your break-even point to capitalize on your business so that next year or even the next month, if you know your break-even point, you can use that to market better. So I'll talk to you next time on your appointments. Make sure you book. Take care. Bye-bye.